Okay, we can see y'all. Let's go. I don't know if we can't see it on here, but we can see it on the phone. Where did you see it?
The lady. Yeah. It's still showing her right here.
Okay, we'll just go in there and just catch up with itself. Alright, so welcome to Mask Off Panels series where we'll be talking about the LGBTQ Miniseries. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so thank everyone for your support. Talking about mental health, letting everybody know what's going on with mental health and getting that out there. We ask that you tag, share, start a live house party, watch party, whatever it is that they do now, so let people know to come into our live feed. And then we'll kick this off in just a few seconds here. We're gonna let people start coming in. Alright, so we are going to talk about mental and emotional issues, experiences, and thoughts while being LGBTQ in your church and the community. All you all are in the community, in the church, and of course, you're the LGBTQ community. So people ask us, why are we doing mask off panels, what our purpose is, and how we plan to help and build this much needed community. Mask Off Panel provides a non-judgmental platform for people to discuss all concerns regarding mental and emotional health. Why? It's time to do something about our mental and emotional problems and not just talk about them. How? Glad you asked. We serve as the glue that connects people to the right resources to begin their journey to a healthy and mental and emotional healthy mental and emotional lifestyle. Quick facts, LGBTQ individuals are almost 3 times more likely than others to experience mental health conditions. The fear of coming out and being discriminated against for your sexual orientation or your gender. That can lead to things such as depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, substance abuse, suicidal thoughts, and also emotional issues such as self-doubt, being unhappy with yourself, isolation, and thinking you aren't good enough. And I'm sure we've all experienced that. So how the show is going to flow, I'm going to introduce our panel. Before I do that, please make sure that you're being transparent. We're going to do a little activity, it's corny, but I want to do it. So I'm going to ask everybody to take your mask off, set it to the side, put it in the lock key, take your mask off the car. Yes.
Thank you. Actually do it.
Yes, this is an activity. And we're going to tell us about your issues, your experiences, your thoughts that you might have had with being in the community, your church, and how it affected you. So please give us examples like if you felt depressed, if you had any type of suicidal thoughts, anxiety, isolation, you were ashamed. Please, let us know, be transparent. And I want to ask you who you are and what role you play in the LGBT community. So I'm going to start to my right. So Drakkar, you were here last time, so Thank you so much for being back. And Drakkar is an activist in the LGBTQ community. He supports it all the way out and he gets involved. So tell us something about yourself, whatever you want us to know.
My name is Drakkar, and thank you, Marky, for that really good introduction. I appreciate it. I moved to Dallas in December 2015, and I got to know a little bit about the community as soon as I got here because I was interested in what Dallas had to offer specifically within the LGBT community. So, ever since I went to Cedar Springs and saw there was this van there that was given it was instant HIV test, like a rapid test, and I just wanted to I got interested in that, and I wanted to develop a volunteering roster with them. So that's made me more interested in LGBTQ activism, especially when it comes to mental illness and HIV/AIDS and getting tested within our community as well. So those are just some of the interests that I have, and I feel like I'm going to go ahead and take it a step further and do some more volunteering in the Dallas and Fort Worth community.
Okay, thank you so much. And we have Brandie, which is another activist in the community. She's as well as our web designer and our logo person. She's our everything. So we appreciate you, Brandie. I love you. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Brandie Bailey, graphic designer, web designer. Wear many hats, I guess.
Right.
You wear
yes. What do you do? You like to do floats and you like to go to Pride?
I would like to be on a float at Pride, but
okay.
because they changed the date on us this year, that wasn't,
Right.
thought about soon enough. But maybe next year.
Okay.
We'll work on it.
We'll work on it
for next year.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, and then we have Mr. Patrick, which is the executive pastor at Fresh Wind Restoration Center, located in Dallas, Texas. Thank you so much for joining us. And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. Well, my journey started over 9 years ago when I moved here from Chicago.
Okay, Chi-town.
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, Mom, love you. And I've always been a church boy. I've always, been a part of church. When I came here to Dallas, I was a part of the Potter's House Ministry, and being a part of a mega church, there are certain things that they, offer, certain services that are there available to the community, but then there's things that are lacking.
Right.
And so I found that we were not as open to our LGBT community. And I have now been a part of a ministry, Freshman Restoration Center, where our pastor is Apostle LaShawn McIntosh. How are you?
Yeah.
And we are a partner to the community, and that's our goal as we continue to grow as a church, is to become more involved with other community activists, other organizations, because we want to be that safe space. We have marginalized our community, and we have thrown them away from their relationship with God, and so that's our focus, and that's what we've been a part of, and that's what my job is, here at the church. So thank you for having me.
Yes, and especially since you're executive, you got a good title. Anytime you say executive, you're a good title.
Yeah, it sounds powerful.
That is. And then we have as well Mr. Brandie, which is the VP, Vice President, for people who don't know who VP is, Vice President of Arlington Black Chamber of Commerce.
Another fancy title.
Another fancy title. So thank you for being here, Mr. Brandon, and tell us a little about yourself. And you host events, and you are very involved in Arlington.
Yeah, so again, my name is Brandon Demings. I am the Vice President of the Arlington Black Chamber. I am also the Executive Board Member to over 10 nonprofit boards that serves everything from suicide prevention nationally. I am one of the national advocates for suicide prevention, both in the LGBTQ community as well as the firearm community. I've served on the national board for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention for a year, and I give a shout out to that board that's still going. I've been the chairman for human trafficking. I've also been on the board for LGBT in East Texas, and started at Kilgore College. I was the vice president of the LGBTQ group out there at Kilgore. And so I've continued that work here in Dallas, and my goal is to just bridge the gap. I understand from a ministry standpoint, I also serve as a minister of my church, to not be known, amen. But, it is a huge stigma within the church. It is not something that we like to talk about, and if we do talk about it, we only talk about one portion and not the entire portion. Right. And sometimes I believe in the church community, we like to pick and choose what scriptures goes with what actions.
Amen.
And even in the community, I think we don't know what real community is.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we suffer from what society tells us. And my goal is to break that barrier and understand that love is love. Skin is skin. It doesn't matter. All you need to do is be in acceptance and grow from it.
Yeah. Right. I love it. Yes. Snap. Thank you so much for that. We have Marquez, which I love you. He is an LPC, and he's also a team member. He has the resources, he has the connections. You're educated, and you always give us some good information. Yes, you're very educated, I love. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Marky Jordan. I am a licensed professional counselor, or LPC. I moved to Texas probably 8 years ago. and like maybe 6 months after I moved here, I started working for an AIDS organization. So I was there for 7 years, working, doing HIV prevention and outreach. I was the guy passing out condoms at the club, doing testing and all that, doing sex education, sexual health education. Then I switched over to doing mental health with those who are HIV positive. So HIV positive with mental health challenges and substance use challenges. So I did that for 5 years. So clearly working with the LGBTQ is always a passion because they are me, I am them. So, so yeah.
Okay. Well, we have some very, very diverse people with different backgrounds, but the main thing is everyone is contributing to the LGBT community, and we understand that there's a need for education to break those stigmas, especially with the church. Working with the community, I'm sure we'll talk about stuff that you have faced and you all have faced in the community. Again, we want to let everyone know our purpose of Mask Off Panel is to provide a non-judgmental platform for people to discuss all concerns regarding mental and emotional health. Why do we do what we do? Because it's time to do something about mental and emotional health problems and not just talking about them. How? We serve as the glue that connects people to the right resources to begin their journey towards a healthy mental and emotional lifestyle. All right, so we have some questions that have been brought to our attention, and we want the top questions that have been brought to our attention from people of the community, the church, and the LGBT community. So we have people that's part of all three and part of individual in order. So I'm going to throw a question out there and let's have a conversation here. So it's not, if you feel like answering, please do. We don't mind making you do anything. So I wanted the first question: have you ever felt judged by your pastor, church, or community?
Yes.
Who wants to start? Go ahead.
Absolutely. I think I remember serving on the board for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. We love the LGBTQ community. We did Pride every week where we go out and we educate them on suicide prevention, understanding the mental illness is a sickness that we all face of some sort. And I think as I went out and I tried to advocate, I think my pastoral friends decided that that was not the right move for the political aspect of church. And I had to get them to understand that I don't do this for politics, I do this for relationships.
Right.
There's a difference between going out here and trying to make a difference and then going up there and preaching the difference.
Right.
That's true.
Absolutely.
So I had to understand that everybody didn't have the same views as me. But growing up as a pastor's grandchild and things like it's a legacy thing. That's how we was raised.
Right.
That's not what we do. That's not what we talk about. Whatever you do must be kept as secret. And what I started to learn is that in this process, I just had to walk in my truth. And that's the most difficult part because there are still some of my family that don't know today. They might know now.
We welcome you.
But it's just by walking in my truth, and this is who I am. I don't identify. I don't have to classify myself as anything but Brandie.
Absolutely.
And I think in church we were getting classified as certain things, whether it's demonic, whether it's a sinner, whether it's this and that. But my thing is, for every stone that you throw, it comes back to you tenfold.
Yes.
That's scripture.
That's scripture.
I just wanted to make sure we were still in there.
Yes.
Well, all right.
Anybody else want to talk about their experience or know anyone who has been judged in the church or community?
Well, I mean, it's all out there, and now with social media, it's very public to see how judgment is so blatant and bold now, coming from the church, and not even just the church, because I don't want to, I don't want them to feel like we're picking on them, because I'm part of the church. But it's just as a whole, and I think for me, it wasn't one particular situation, but I remember as I was growing up, I was afraid to even speak in public because I didn't like my voice, and I figured if they heard that, they would clock me, and that would just be a domino effect.
Escalate.
And, so imagine, if you know that you're called into ministry, and this is what you're supposed to do for your people and your community, but you're afraid to even step out there because of the judgment that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
So how many people have missed out on a blessing because I was so afraid with that judgment and that condemnation that comes with that.
Right.
I mean, it happens, you know. I don't think I have a particular situation where, you know, I can say my pastor just pointed me out, but you know, it's there, and you know it's there, and you can sense it, and it has a huge impact on how we, you know, move and interact, even in the church and in the community. And like your situation, you know, it's afraid to even associate with certain people because we don't want to then be clocked or identified or, you know, exposed.
Right.
So it's a struggle sometimes, and I think everyone is experiencing it in some capacity.
I think to add on to that, I think for me, I have a uncle that is very popular. He was in the music industry over 40-something years. He is now a pastor here in Dallas. And I remember just going to, you know, if you've done Kojic church, you have church all day long.
All day.
All day.
I'm Baptist,
So-
and y'all have church all day.
Sun up to sundown, we have church.
Right.
And I just remember the sermon. It was like a mockery. It was the sissies and the this and the that, and I'm like, all of this is being done in the pulpit, and it's like it just made me cringe because even if you're not talking to me directly, you're still offending me because you're talking about something that's a part of who I am as an individual.
Right.
And so sometimes we have to learn that we have to sometimes go out and put on that extra shield because you don't know what may come your way. You don't know what bullets, what scars or things you're going to face in the community. And that's just the fear of coming out and saying, this is who I am, love it or leave it.
Right. And that's hard for people to say, hey, because everybody looks for that validation. You know, even straight people, I mean, everyone looks for validation. You know, especially it starts in, you know, for me, it started in my household. One of my parents to validate me as, hey, I'm proud of you, daughter. You did something. You know, so I think everyone just looks for that validation. When you don't get that, you don't know how to react. You know, that's when the mental, emotional thoughts come in like, hey, what's wrong with me that people can't accept who I am?
Right.
I can't be my true self. You know, everybody look at the characteristics of who you are. Like you said, I'm just Brandie. I'm just Marky. Don't look at what's going on, the characteristics that make me who I am who I am. Anybody else want to put in about their community?
Well, I more so struggled internally with being homosexual in the church because I looked at my relationship with God trumps anything. Like I could really care about what anybody else thinks. I'm more so concerned about my relationship with God and how He views me. So I kind of struggled a lot with that. I feel like people kind of knew that I was gay, but they never really said anything. You know, black people, they think, but they don't really say anything. Some people might ask you like on the side, but that's a different conversation.
Right.
So I just really struggled internally and with God, and it took me a long time for me to really feel His energy, for Him to say to me that He loves me despite of anything. He just wants me to, you know, be smart and to kind of just be aware of how the world is towards gay people, but still walk in my truth and walk and proclaim and know that God loves me despite of anything else. So that's kind of how I had to live my life. I did have a pastor who tried to, you know, pray the gay away thing with me. And he kind of made it known amongst the congregation, and then he wanted to, you know, kind of convert me from being gay to straight. And that was sickening for me. Like I felt like I automatically didn't resonate with the pastor. I shut down. I told my mom I don't want to go there anymore. I felt so offended. And that was just that. I stopped attending any service where he was preaching, and I gravitated more towards his sister because she preached more about God's love and how to walk in His principles and how to love other people and how to point people back to God and to, you know, explain to them that you have to know God for yourself and you have to have your own relationship with Him.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So that's kind of
I love it.
how I developed.
Yes. And you're so right. You have to, for the ones who are in church, you have to have your own relationship. You know, there's a higher power, and whatever your higher power is, You know, a lot of people, in the Baptist community, we didn't raise talk about meditation. I didn't know about meditation until I got older and exposed to that in school. But I was thinking, you know, in witchcraft, you know, thinking you change your views as you become understanding for yourself. And you know what you know. Nobody can take that away from you.
No.
But the thing is, we don't know. Because a lot of, like you said, in the Black community, we don't talk about a lot of issues. We speculate. We gossip. We talk. It's not how somebody
We
acts.
stigmatize the hell out of it with
But
people.
nobody comes to you and say, hey, you know, X, Y, Z. And then, like my grandma say, if it was meant for you to know, you don't know it anyway. Thank you, Granny. So, I mean, I think, you know,
wisdom.
I mean, but I just think, but no matter if somebody knows that you're gay or whatever your classification is, that doesn't have anything to do with who you are or what you can bring to the table.
Right.
So I think, you know, it's good that we're having this conversation about our experiences, so it be able to help someone else that might get ready to go through it, that's going through it, or that's been through it, and say, hey, I've been through that.
I think the glue is what he brought up. We need more safe spaces,
Yes.
and we need to promote that and foster that and execute that
Right.
towards our community, LGBTQ, Black people, white people, everybody.
Right.
So I don't know.
And we don't
This is what
discriminate.
I
I mean, Brandie, you tell us.
I don't discriminate. I'm just saying as a collective.
We love everybody.
Yes.
All colors of the rainbow.
I love you. You know that. I'm just saying, as a collective, we need to establish some type of safe space
Absolutely.
to where we can talk
Brandie,
about those
do you
things.
have anything? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Do you have anything that, I mean, you've had experience in the community. I don't know about your church, but.
Well, I wasn't really, I guess, out or knew that I was gay when I was going to church, but I mean, it can be gay, it can be other things, like growing up in the church, Harry Potter was the devil.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So I mean,
Yes.
like
Oh
some's
my
always
God.
the devil. It seems like with
Magic.
the older stuff.
Witchcraft.
And I'm sorry, but I like charms, so I'm gonna keep. I mean,
Me too.
I mean,
I am
don't
a
think.
Phoebe stan. I
Yes.
love Phoebe.
I
And
don't
I don't
think
watch
that-
all the Harry Potter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Harry Potter lovers.
Yeah, and I think the only negative thing that I had, well, not the only one, but the one that stood out to me the most was when we went back to Silver Springs, which is a really small town, about 30 minutes outside of Greenville. And me and my girlfriend were eating dinner at a Mexican restaurant one night, not even sitting on the same side, not even holding hands, just the look of us. And somebody next to us decided that it was her duty to tell us that we were going to burn in hell.
Mm.
And I was like, no, I'm saved, honey. I'm good. But you
Right.
probably need to worry
That's
about
your
yourself.
truth.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know you say.
I'm good.
Right. Yeah.
Just saying.
Yes.
I'm good. I know where I'm going.
Right. Right.
You may
She
not be
already
there.
heard
that
But
coming.
Yes.
Absolutely.
She
Yeah.
already
Yes.
knows. Yes.
I'm saying.
And that's the
Convicted.
thing is, people put their stuff on a pedestal. Like, what makes you better than me? How? And my attitude, I'm like, how dare they? You know, like, did you feel like you were just up here and I'm a peasant? You know, like, I mean, who told you that you had the golden wings? Nobody. You told yourself. I mean, that's your affirmation within yourself, not my truth. And
Some religious people think they're superior
yes.
over like other religions or like people and a group of people. So I feel like it kind of came from that.
Yeah, but Jesus died for everybody, honey. So
It is.
don't get it twisted.
Well, I know you were very involved in the church, so did you,
Facts.
in the community, so did you have any experiences?
No, because I grew up in Arkansas, Conway, Arkansas. I didn't grow up, excuse me. I went to college as an adult in Conway, Arkansas. I didn't have, like, I was very involved. I was a deacon, and oh my God, I can't believe I was all that.
Come on,
I was like, oh, so
we
you know,
got a
like,
whole collection.
Yeah.
not anymore. I'm not.
Once you was, you always gonna be.
I was like 1920s. I was very involved in the church as a deacon. I was in the choir. We had college ministry on the UCA campus, so I was all across the board involved. But luckily, like my pastor, like it was no hate speech across the pulpit. When I decided to come out at 23, I had a conversation with him. Like I texted him and said, "Hey, let's meet for lunch." And I said, "I'm going to step down." I said, I'm trying to figure out my sexuality, and I don't want to figure it out in front of the world.
Yeah.
Like, I respect your church,
Yes.
and I know clearly your church isn't inclusive, so I know where you stand biblically, and that's okay. Like, you believe what you believe,
Right.
but I'm in the role of a deacon, and I'm in the role of choir and praise team and Bible study leader. I don't want to embarrass you.
Right.
And our town was so small, everyone knew that my church was like the college church, and all the college students went to it. So I didn't want to be, because I felt smothered, like all those years of being in church and I kind of wanted to like explore and go to the gay club, and I never had that at 23, so I kind of wanted to do that,
Right.
but I didn't want to do that and embarrass him,
Right.
right? So when I told him that, he was like, okay, well, I respect your, and I stepped down from all my roles, and I went to figure myself out, right? At age 23. So he was very supportive. Like, he made a talk about when I left, but he was like, okay, I get it. We started talking about other stuff. So he was real supportive. It was my church friend. And so it wasn't the pulpit, it was my church friend. So we all went to Bible study together. We all sung in the choir together. So when I came out, I came out loud. So that's another story for another day. Looking back on it, I'm 35 now. I'm sure they know how to handle it. They were 22. We were all young and had so much zeal about God. And so when I came out, I was like, oh, you're wrong. What are you doing? So I don't blame them because I get it. We're young.
Right.
We're,
Still need guidance.
Yeah. But they backed away, and I was level lonely.
Yeah.
Right? Because they were my friends from 18 to 23, so it was 5 years of friendship. We went to college together, we went to church together, so we shared all these same experiences. But when I said I came out on MySpace,
That's back in the day.
Yeah.
Yes.
You remember MySpace?
MySpace?
MySpace over.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. You know MySpace, when you can change it from straight to bisexual.
Yes.
And I changed it, and like
Everybody commented.
All my family. So I came out, so I had to tell the same story to 100 people.
Yeah. Right.
So all my church friends were like, and they said that's not the reason. Yes, it is. Like, how can we be cool? The woman,
Right.
I don't hear from you, so but it's cool. But yeah, so it was my pastor was real supportive. It was
That's
more
good.
of my church community, my church friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you went to your head pastor and said, hey, this is what I'm going through, and out of respect for you and your congregation, this is what I feel is best for me. And so I think with anything, it's just the respect. I mean, even with friendships, it's the respect with parents, with family members. It's the respect.
Right.
You respect me, I respect you. It might be some activities that I might do that you might approve of, but I respect you enough not to do those activities in front of you.
Right.
Because I don't want to offend you.
Right.
And vice versa. If you keep your comments to yourself, respect me enough to not tell me how you feel.
But it shouldn't be offensive because it's just who you are. But I know that's a separate consciousness, a separate thought. But it shouldn't even be an offensive thing. It should just be like a comment. I want to love you type of
I know we're
thing.
going off
No,
the
you're
part
good.
of the script.
You
But to that, this is what I say as a counselor to people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get what you're saying, but I always try to get people to understand you can't change people's heart. That's a heart issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what they find offensive, like I said, it's just being me. Whether I walk in with my boyfriend on the hand, or whether you think I switch too much of my hips, I'm just being me. But I don't have to act different because I'm around you. I get what you're saying, so I still tell people be you, but don't waste all that energy trying to change people's
Yeah.
heart. It's a heart issue, right?
That's true.
And so it's a lot of energy to try to change your heart. Now, if you believe one way and I believe one way, and we have a mature debate about it, I'm all for that. Like, let's educate each other, let's disagree to agree.
Yeah.
But as far as like changing your heart, like family members and church people, I'm not gonna change your heart. That's a heart issue. So if you believe in your heart that the Bible says X, Y, Z, or whatever, or this
That's their right to believe.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna. That's not my job to change your heart.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave up that job a long time ago, and I found peace when I did that. So when I walk in a room, I'm me, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't like my voice, if you don't like the way I walk, if you don't like whatever, that's okay. That's a heart issue for you. That has nothing to do with me. So once I came to that realization, I'm telling you, you find so much peace when you do that. Like, that's a heart issue. And if you offended because I breathe the wrong way or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's okay. That's just a heart issue. I tell people that in the counseling session, when they want that validation, when they want that from their family or whoever, because they're LGBT, they're lesbian, they're trans, I'm like, baby, it's a heart issue. And you can't, even though you deserve the validation, because that's your mom, that's your brother, that's your church member, you're not going to change their heart.
Right.
Only through prayer, maybe their heart will change. But you yourself, it's a no-win battle, and you will wear yourself out doing that.
Everybody in agreement with that?
Yeah.
Like everybody was like, Okay, so we're gonna move on to question number 2 because point 1 was good. Were you ever afraid of being called out, or did you ever feel like people were staring at you every time the topic of homosexuality came up? Now, people talk about that all the time in the pulpit. My church that I go to, New Life Fellowship, our pastor, he doesn't mention it. He welcomes everybody. He talks about love. We're going to love you in spite of. Come as you are. We come in jeans. We can come in sandals. It's not about the tradition of it. It's about what you need right now. Yeah. And he believes in meeting people where they are. Right. So wherever you are, I'm going to meet you wherever you are, and I'm going to give you whatever you need. Right. I can't give you what I think you need or what I want to give you. I'm going to give you what you need. Yeah. And so I respect that, and that's one thing that made me fall in love with my church here, my church family, is because they embrace all kinds. We look around, and it's like a sea of different people. Mm-hmm. It represents representation of what the world should be. Mm-hmm. And so I love that. It's not about, hey, I don't think he doesn't talk about certain topics because he don't want to offend anyone. He just teaches the word, and I can respect anyone who teaches the word. Mm-hmm. You know, and teach me, and let me interpret it how I want to interpret it, because today the message might be for you. Tomorrow the message might be, next Sunday the message might be for so and so. So sometimes when I go to church, I'm like, I needed to hear that. That was for me. So have you ever heard? I'm sure y'all have heard the word homosexuality come up in the pulpit. Yeah. And how did it make you feel? Or did people look at you like?
Of course, there's a huge elephant in the room whenever the pastor's like, God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. And then everybody like, hey, and then you're just sitting there like, I am Adam and Steve. So it's just like, I don't know, there's an elephant in the room. Yeah. And I've always felt like that.
And depending on what church you go to, like, of course, like you said, your church members knew because your pastor can't tell everybody the situation. Mm-hmm. But even if the church don't know, you it's like you feel self-conscious.
It's an internal thing.
Yeah, you feel it. Yeah.
And you're wrestling with that. And so it's not necessarily they're looking at you, you're looking at yourself, and it's like, this is uncomfortable because now I am seeing the true colors of how people that I share ministry with really feel about me, you know? And we smile, we laugh, they tell me they love me and they enjoy my word or this, that, and the third, but at the end of the day, you really don't like what is a part of me. So it becomes internal. I don't think it's necessarily like they're looking and pointing at me, because I'm gonna be honest, I don't wear a flag everywhere I go. Right. And because I am quiet most of the time, most people wouldn't identify that until I start talking. And so it's still internal. They don't even know me from, Bob or Kelly. Right. But I'm wrestling with that in my own mind. So.
Now what advice would you give someone who is in a church that's talking about homosexuality and they're going through what you went through? I feel ashamed now because I'm hearing that, and I know this church doesn't embrace homosexuality. I know T.D. Jakes did something. He did like a little interview, and he was talking about homosexuality and how things are just different. And I was like, okay. And then there's another guy. His name is Matthew, and I have to look it up. I'm in blank, but he actually went through Bible school and theology school, whatever it's called, Bible school, and he learned, and he is going back to like the BCs and ADs and stuff, and he was like, it's people that have changed the word. It's not really, the word was there, it's different people who added to it and took from it what they wanted to do. I mean, we still do that today. People, like you said, people tell you, they pick out what scriptures they want to give you, but they want to talk about the scriptures over here. I mean, because the Bible affects all of us. It talks about everything. So as we all know, we are imperfect people that serve a perfect God. Pastor Williams, thank you so much for educating me on that. But we are imperfect people that we serve a perfect God. And I don't feel like we try to be anything else but our authentic self. But being our authentic self comes with just unwanted feelings. Isolation happens.
So what I would say, I'm always going to wear the council hat. Sorry.
Please do, yes.
That's okay. So, I can't help it. So this is what I say. I'm never in the business, even when I'm doing counseling, telling patients like what they should do. You grown, right? Just know whatever decision you make has some type of consequence, right? But you do what you want to do. But this is what I would tell someone if they're sitting in church and are going to a ministry and they think, and you know they're saying things that go against who you are, what you stand for, is that we all have in therapy is what I call core beliefs, right? This belief system that builds up who you are. So a core belief, like for instance, a positive core belief is I am worthy, I can be successful, I can make it, I am who I am, I can do all things. Those are core beliefs. No matter what challenge comes up, that is what you believe about yourself, right? Then there's negative core beliefs like I'm not good enough, I'm unworthy. So based off what you believe is how you maneuver in the world. So if you, all I would say is if you stay in that type of toxic type of environment, it's going to feed one of those two cores, right? So if you stay in the ministry and you know they're saying you're not worthy, which is again a core belief, you're not worthy because you're gay or you're trans or you're lesbian or you're bisexual, you're going to hell, you're living in iniquity, all that is to me negativity is feeding that core belief. So that internally will help you navigate in this world, right? So when challenges in life come up, the first thing you think of is I'm not worthy. The first time you pray about something, you I really want that job. When you pray for that job, what's the first thing you're gonna think of? I'm not getting it because I'm not worthy because I'm gay, right? So again, if you stay, it's your choice, but know that it's going to impact that core thing that you have.
I agree. Good information. I agree. All right.
Can I?
Yes.
I just think it should be cut and dry. Like if you feel like you're not resonating with the message or the people that you fellowship with, and that they don't respect, your lifestyle, aside from you being a Christian or whatever you are, then you should just leave, and then find a new place to go and worship, something that truly resonates with you and what you believe, your core beliefs.
Right.
So
did anybody here have any suicidal thoughts? Did anybody have any anxiety, depression, isolation, due to you being judged? So by people judging you in your church and community, what kind of feelings did they cause for you?
I think for me, I'm what is known as a lived experience. So I just didn't mention I'm a life coach. But I'm a lived experience. What that means is when we talk about suicide, I've attempted 6 times in my life. From wrist cuts to taking pills to firearms to a little bit of everything. So what I now try to do is share my story and hope that is a beacon of light for somebody else. Because I was picked on. You know what I mean? It's to hear, sorry, mama, but we're gonna go back a little bit. To hear, if you are that way, I can't be your mother. I can't love you the same. That's hard. That's a fear that I've never wanted to hear. To even growing up in my adult life, throughout my college career, having my peers, sit up there and put my name on social media, because I went to UTA and my peers decided to make a whole social media page, and I was plastered across the university, and my number was plastered on the wall. And did I think about it? Absolutely. I went back into that negative, dark space. So when we talk about those negative core values, so in that moment, I started believing what everybody else was identifying me as. It wasn't until I learned to say, this is who I am, and I had to change my language, because when I can change my language, if you're connected to me enough and your heart is right, your language will change. I'm like our counselor here. I'm not here to change you. I will educate you though, because you haven't walked the same streets as me. You still going off what somebody told you rather than what you know for yourself. And sometimes I'm gonna take it even further. Sometimes people are upset because you are doing something that they can't do, which is just walk in your truth.
Amen. Yes.
Whatever that truth is, because it doesn't necessarily have
Correct.
to be that.
It's whatever it is. Sometimes people are like, oh, well, I wish I was like you, but because the world told me I gotta be like this, and these are the popular people, I wanna be a part of this popular group, which you don't understand is that you was meant to stand out. God didn't create you like anybody else. He said, I created you by my image. Okay, we don't look beneath, we look above all things. And that's what I had to take away from that experience. But through my suicidal experience, what led me to that was that I did have to go through the bullying stage. I was raped and molested from 3 to 11. And a lot of things just took place. And this is my family. And what I realized about my family is that as I dug deep in my later years, I realized that the person that did it to me had the same experience that I went through. And then the person that did it to him had the same experience that I went through. So it's like an ongoing cycle. And fortunately in our community, our black community, we don't like to address those issues. I'm not going to seek help even though I know you need it. And if I do tell you, then I'm going to isolate you. I'm going to disown you or whatever the case may be because you're not normal. You're not what society told you you're supposed to be.
I love it. Yes.
You know,
Come on, Miss Pate.
you gotta do the wheels are turning. I like what you said, but I'm gonna flip that a little bit because some people are not as strong and confident within themselves like we are.
True.
And so as easy as it is for us to come to ourselves and go, you know what, I don't deserve that, I'm worth that. Some people are not there. And this is why I advocate counseling, because some just haven't had enough life experience to be able to navigate through life like that. It's not as easy for them. And so it takes that talk therapy and, you know, guiding them through that process to go, you know what, I don't have to take my life to end this kind of trouble. And I wish we would introduce that a lot sooner into our generations than waiting till we're 30 and 40 and realize, you know what, I've masked and put away so much hurt, shame, and guilt and all of this trying to end it with taking my life. I could have lived a so much better life had I addressed it earlier. And that's why we now have kids who don't know how to, they're young, they don't know, they're not mature enough to navigate this. So that's why they're taking their life. Correct. So we have to, you know, it's more than praying in a way. It's more than saying, well, you know, I had to realize sometimes you need to talk to somebody who knows a lot more than you do.
Right.
And you need to be taught.
That's why it's important to have those support groups.
It is.
I think it's important for every community church to have a support group for everyone. You know, because they had a lot of marriage stuff, but they didn't really start catering to the singles. I think until I got like 20s, and I mean, I'm like, I know about being single at this point, you know. So, or I know they didn't have a single ministry until, you know, but that was a support group that I needed. I felt like I needed growing up for just direction, so you don't have to speak to, you know, your parents and your sisters, your brothers, and your peers, because my peers didn't know either. We just thought we knew, you know. Girl, yeah, you should leave him to do this. We didn't know, you know, but that was us talking. But I think having someone that's been through the fire, who knows some things and has some education behind them to help navigate us, I think that's very important.
I also think what I love about it is we talked about safe zones. Safe zones don't just start out here. Mm-hmm. It starts at home. Absolutely. If we learn to create those safe zones, it will open up a platform for not only our youth, but for our adults. It makes it easier to share. And the safe zone don't necessarily have to always be about our sexuality. Mm-hmm. It can just be about life and what we go through as individuals and what our children experience. We don't do that enough. We don't open the door for them to be able to say, you know what, mommy, I just don't feel good today. Well, why don't you feel good today? And then we have to learn that in the safe zone, I have to talk less and listen more. That's what really comes down to. If I talk less but listen more, I can hear what you're truly saying rather than my interpretation of what you're saying.
Is that a heart issue for people to have to realize that they have to cognitively, you know, listen before they speak?
It depends on the person. Like, I think everybody has different personalities. I know some people, like for instance, my mom loves to talk over me. I think that she does, like she does to everybody. So it's a some people aren't taught how to effectively.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's more of a soft skill.
Yeah.
That sounds like a soft skill too. Yes.
Now,
That
some
really
people-
needs to
some
be
people,
developed.
It may be a hard issue if they just on purpose trying to cut you
Right.
off. That's a whole different. But I think sometimes we're not taught basic
Communication skills.
And
Yes.
back to what it Patrick.
Yes.
That's what Patrick said earlier. I tell people all the time, I wish high schools or starting at middle school, I wish they had like an elective class or a mandatory class called coping skills 101.
Mhm.
Like people aren't taught how to, right? So they're not. Well, let me back up. They're not taught what is depression, what is anxiety, what are symptoms. Then they're not taught how to. How do I cope? How do I manage? Right? So when they get 19, 20, 21, the first thing they think about is taking pills. Because no one taught them how to be resilient, right? And it's not their fault. No one taught them. So a lot of times, back to like even the communication thing, some people aren't taught how to let's communicate, or let's fight, or fighting fair, arguing fair, right? You want to over talk. You don't want to. You want to manipulate the conversation, right? Sometimes people just aren't taught how to.
I think emotional intelligence plays a part in that too. I don't think we're emotionally intelligent enough to really kind of identify how people feel, whether it's in church or school or at work. People, conceal their identity, who they are. And I feel like if we were to take it a step further and really be more emotionally intelligent to decipher those emotions with people, then that would really help, kind of create more safe spaces
It's
and
a
things like
two-way
that.
street. I mean, we're now living in a social media age, and so a lot of people present themselves in one way, and so because of that, that's how the public knows them, and so that's how they will always present themselves and never be authentic.
Right.
So they're not being transparent, and then because again it's a social media age, I don't even know how to communicate anymore
Exactly.
in person. So I don't even know how to identify you're struggling or this is how you really feel, because I'm so used to scrolling and clicking and double clicking. I don't even know how to really connect anymore. And so it's both ends. That's why mask off is really important, because I think we've gotten away from that big time.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. Yes, I'm a tie-in mask off. Yes. Okay, this is a good one. What would you have told yourself in the beginning to prepare yourself for who you are now?
Walking your truth and be who you are.
Brandie? You haven't heard from you a lot, girl. Come on, talk to us.
I'm absorbing it. I had an epiphany this past weekend that really hit hard to home. And not gonna cry. I probably would have just told younger Brandie that you are worth it.
I love it.
And that just stems from all of the not having somewhere to go where you feel safe as a person to just let it all go.
Yeah.
Especially in smaller towns.
Yes.
Because there's
Especially.
nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing in smaller towns.
Amen. Yes,
I would say don't take it personal. There's been a lot of hurt that I've been holding on to since I was young, and it wasn't until recently, and I'm a part of this because I've had to deal with this. I had to go through counseling just recently, that I had hit years of hurt and shame because I took stuff so personal. I didn't let it go, didn't let it slide off, and just keep going. And so I would tell myself that, and I think I would be at a different place now if I knew that a long time ago.
I love it.
Take
Yes.
it personal.
What would you give us, Mr. Brandie? Come on, give us a word.
I think for me, it's kind of just forgiving myself for punishing myself, and then forgive the others that have punished me. Because forgiveness is one of the hardest things that we have to go through as a community.
Yes. It's
So
very hard to do.
if I can tell myself anything, it's just forgive me first, and then I can come back and forgive you, because I have to first love me.
Yes.
And if I go in there and I'm starting to pick at me because society picked at me, then I'm doing more harm to myself than I'm allowing the world to do to me.
I love it. Yes. Markel.
It gets better. Keep living. It gets.
I like that.
That's
and
true.
it's true.
Yeah.
It's really
It
true.
gets better. I feel like back to a lot of what I said earlier. no one teaches us how to cope, how to see past the pain, right?
Yeah.
We just see the right now,
Yeah.
the judgment or the challenge or whatever you're going through. You just see the right now. And so the first thing you want to do is give up or hurt yourself or hurt somebody or whatever. You just, what I would tell myself at 12, 13 is keep living. It gets better. The confusion, the journey, it hurts, it sucks for a little bit, but it gets better.
I love it. Yes, yes. Okay, what would you tell someone that's young or struggling with mental and emotional feelings due to not being accepted? That validation point we talked about. So what kind of pointers would you give someone that's looking for that validation? And I know you said earlier, you'll never get it.
Well, I didn't say that.
Well, sometimes you'll never get it.
Yes. This is probably like the number one thing I preach, especially when I work in the HIV clinic with some of my LGBT patients. I mean, because they're 25, 30, still wanting it, still wanting the validation, right? Mm-hmm. And so what I would tell a young person at 13, 14, or even an adult, that do you deserve it? Yes. Will you always get it? Sometimes no. So somewhere in your heart and in your mental space, you have to come to the conclusion, and it might take a while to come to it, that everybody not gonna get it.
Yeah.
You have to come to peace with that, or you will always be at an internal struggle, or with a struggle with your brethren, right? Whether it's your mom or your dad or your auntie, your cousin, or your boss at work or whoever. Everybody's not going to get it. Should you be validated by everybody that you love? Yes, in a perfect world, your mama, daddy, grandma, your pastor, everybody will love you for simply being all of you, right? But the reality is, everybody's not going to love Brandie. Everybody's not going to get that you have a female partner. They just not going to get it. They will be on their deathbed and still believe you're going to hell. But that's okay, right? So do you deserve validation? Yes, we always get no. And you have to make peace with that. You have to.
That's good. I think what I would say is kind of tied to that, and that's everybody's not assigned to you.
Yeah.
I come here with a purpose, and everybody's not assigned to me. And some assignments have to end. They're not there forever. So whether the relationship lasts or not, the assignment is done.
Yes.
And if they stick with you, if they ride with you, the Bible says if they were for you, they never would have left.
Mm.
So, I'm a believer that if you are with me, you were assigned to me. If not, go on. There's somebody there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Please play that boy.
I love it. You better play it for you over there. I see it. Yes. Yes. Everybody's not assigned to you. And you hear that mask off panel. Everybody is not assigned to you. And that's okay.
That's okay.
It's okay. We still alive. At the end of the day, we still living, breathing, and enjoying life. And no matter the hurt that I've been through, I'm still here. Like, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger.
Exactly.
I'm firmly. Yes, I don't have good days. Yes, I have bad days. Yes, sometimes I need validation. Yes, sometimes I'm isolated. Yes, sometimes I'm moody. But at the end of the day, I still get another chance. So when I wake up in the morning, I thank God because somebody didn't wake up.
Yeah.
Before I go to bed, I thank Him. So, and nobody can tell me my relationship that I have with God. That's personal. Nobody's in my personal relationship that I might have with someone, so don't be into my personal relationship with God. That's for me and Him, and to keep on pushing. What were you gonna say?
No. I think the one thing that changed. I know we're on that time. I think the one thing that changed my mind is when I came out 23. I spent so years suppressed. I just came out. I had T-shirts made that said, "I am gay, get over it." I was a hot yes. But I just felt so suppressed for years, and now that I felt like, I'm free, I'm gonna show you I'm free, right? It is young and silly, and didn't know no better, right?
Yeah.
So I was 24, 25, wearing these shirts, wearing them to public places, wearing them to I didn't wear a shirt to church, but I would wear certain things to church just to piss people off. Like I was in this rebellion, and just trying to seek validation through aggression. I'm gonna make you validate me, right? And then I had my best friend. My best friend told me that someone in the church, he would tell me the name. He said, someone said, and back then that's when Facebook became really, really popular around like 2007, 2008. Every Facebook status it was, I'm me, I'm a dude, me, just like. And my best friend said, what are you trying to prove? if you really say this is who you are, this simply exists.
Just live.
So I was around
Yeah.
26 when he said that. It just shifted me, right? That this be everybody gonna validate you. You doing all this energy trying to make people. You go. I am who I am. It's like you acting like you're not sure. Right. You trying too hard, right? And so I had to come to that conclusion and just simply live.
Right.
This
I love
is
it.
real good. Yeah, I'm still going through, my phases. I'm just 25, so I'm still trying to develop more and more confidence.
Whoa.
So I'm just taking in everything. I'm just taking in everything that y'all are saying. I think is really good advice. So I appreciate it.
I think you have to allow people space.
Yeah. I went through it.
I actually never came out to my mother. And she's watching now, and she'll tell.
Hey,
I've
Mama.
never actually
Hey, Mama.
came out, but she.
I know we went a little bit over time, but we started a little late. But I felt like we helped someone. I know
Me
you
too.
said you were helped. I mean, you had an epiphany, enlightenment period with you. I felt like this helped someone, and that's our job. Long as we've helped one person, we've done our job. I think we've educated some people. We have some nosy people that want to see what we're talking about, and we have some lazy people who just on there just because, hey, let me see what they're doing. I mean, but at the end of the day, we are here to take our mask off, be transparent, and help someone. We all understand that love is very important. I love you in spite of who you are. What were you going to say?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say something.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I agree with you.
So for people who tuned in late, just to let you know, Mask Off Panel, our purpose is to provide a non-judgmental platform for people to discuss all concerns regarding mental and emotional health. Why it's time to do something about the mental and emotional health problems and not just talk about them. So we're not just talking about, we actually in the community, getting safe groups, safe zones, support groups, we're doing stuff in our community, and that's what it's all about. And how we serve as the glue that connects people to the right resources so that people can begin their healthy journey towards a healthy mental and emotional lifestyle. So thank y'all so much for joining the panel discussion today. We help somebody. Websites, if you want to learn more about the LGBT community, you can go to www.getrealeducation.org. You can go to www.soulforce.org or wearetheYouth.org. So that's good for the youth. Also, organizations that support and offer products and information, resources for LGBT community is Family Acceptance, It Gets Better, the Trevor and the Save John projects. They're all well-known projects. I'm sure all of you have heard of them. Hotlines, you need to call the Trevor hotline, look them up online. And they also have a trans hotline, and you can contact them as well. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Kids World Child Care, they provide all your child care needs. They're located in Conway, Arkansas. They're one of the best daycares in the Metroplex, so definitely check out Kids World Child Care. Veteran Cleaning Services, it's veteran owned and they give veterans second chance. I love that, I love it. It's one of our board members, Mr. Brian Brown. He's doing amazing things. He's a veteran and he allows other veterans to come because it's hard. That's another mental emotional struggle. Educations for Exceptionalities. It's an education consulting company that focuses on special education advocacy, and federal programs. So they support schools all across the country. So definitely, if you need a consulting company for special needs, definitely contact them. Blessed Gals in Conway, it's a one-stop shop. You can get your t-shirts made, you can get detox tea, you can sit in this little sauna thing, get slim,
Amen.
Get some body fat off. I plan on doing that when I come to Conway. But they're a one-stop shop. So check out Blessed Girls. We have Heavy Concepts, which is a streetwear and lifestyle brand that also is known as healing, helping, and honoring the vulnerable youth. I love anybody that offers to our youth and our elders.
Yeah.
Those two are missed all the time, the youth and the elders, and so that's what we want to bridge the gap.
Go get y'all some shirts, y'all.
Get your shirts. Heavy Concepts. Go and check them out. Good quality products.
Mm-hmm.
Upcoming events. We have a makeup class presented by our own Tiffany Dubois. You can follow her on Facebook and IG. She will have a makeup class this Friday. Brandie and I was the last makeup class. I tried to do my makeup. I had a black eye over here. They were laughing at me, but hey, that's not.
But she fixed it.
She fixed it. She worked miracles.
Okay, she fixed it.
She fixed it, and she also has one on the 31st. So check out Tiffany Dubois. She's our production team. She does a wonderful job. The summer break kickoff. So I have tickets here for the summer break kickoff. The summer jam coming. we would have Mr. Tay, the Prince of Ag, which people who know from Arlington, Ag Town, that's us. He is a young rapping artist. He talks positive. He's talking about slang, so he's talking about education and getting money the proper way. We have young DJ Jay, You Funny. So the summer kickoff by Kid Rich Entertainment. So check them out. Get your tickets. Mask Off Panel has our tickets. They're $5. So definitely contact Kid Rich Entertainment. And Mask Off Panel will be sponsoring 5 tickets for the youth. So we want our youth to go and hang out with other youth and get the proper information and the right resources. So we will be sponsoring tickets for this summer kickoff. Also, we will have, this summer we'll be collecting water bottles, so I'll be contacting each of you to help. We want to go out to the community. So we're not about just bringing people to us. We want to meet people where they are. So we want to go out to our homeless and pass out water bottles. We have a couple people that have partnered with us. It's going to give sandwiches. And so we are looking forward for that. That is coming in June or July. So keep on our website. More information will be there as well as our social media. So please tag someone. We thank you for tuning in and being patient with us. This is a much needed conversation. We need to build more support communities. We need to have more safe zones for people to feel that they can talk about anything, whether it's being an LGBT community, whether it's finances. We need to start educating our kids now, not waiting until they're 20-something to start figuring it out. You missed them, might have missed them. And like you said, suicide rates and it's happening in kids. And definitely check out our website. Brandie does a wonderful job keeping that up. You can get promotional products as well as send donations. You can Cash App or PayPal us and also sign up through Amazon Smile. And so when you purchase stuff, a percentage will come to, your donation will come to Mask Off Panel. But we are trying to build this much needed community. We need to stick together. I have, in my 5 years of being here in Texas, I have made so many connections. And I just know that everything happens for a reason. I met each and every one of you. I met you at the Arlington Black Commerce meeting. I met you hanging out. I met you through networking. I met you through Uber and Lyft. I mean, but I know everybody I come in contact with, we meet for a reason.
Yeah.
And we tied in there. But, and I believe that we was meant to have this. And so I thank you all for joining in. Do you have any final concern? Please let know people how they can reach you. They might have questions for you personally, so give them your contact information real quick.
Drakkar Jones. I don't really have a website or anything.
Okay, but you know Facebook.
But it could be developing, and if something happens, I will let you know.
Okay, absolutely.
Comes about.
Brandie.
Brandie Bailey. I'm on Facebook. Instagram is at BABailey09.
Okay.
Ooh, 9.
Yeah. All right, Mr.
Patrick Pate, and my Instagram is @thereal_Patrick. Also, you can connect with me through our church, Freshman Restoration Center. I have a team that'll make sure I get to you.
Amen. Yes.
And me, it's Brandon Demings on Facebook. It's @BDemings_fame, and this is my Instagram. You can find me in the community of Arlington.
Yes. Follow him on Facebook. You can see wherever he's at.
Right. If I don't post, you can still message me. I got my 5,000 friends I got to go through and start deleting. That's from my club days, amen. But definitely, I always would love for people to reach out and to connect. Might as well be a bridge, huh?
Absolutely. I love that all y'all say, hey, I'm a resource. If you need to contact me, you might not feel comfortable reaching out to an organization such as ourselves, but reach out to them individually. And I'm sure everybody wouldn't mind sharing and helping and figuring it out. Right there.
Can I add one thing
Yes,
real quick? I do want to make let people know to add to the list of resources the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Even if you do not want to speak, you're not comfortable speaking out loud, you can text 741-741, and within 30 seconds somebody will reach out to you via in a text message, and then they will ask you if it's all right for them to contact you. So those are additional resources that I definitely want to make sure you understand, because again, suicidology is real, it's here, it's now.
Yes.
Can I add? There's the AOC in Fort Worth. They have free HIV testing and free other services as well. So for people who need a resource to get tested, there's the AOC in Fort Worth. I think they're located off of Beach Street. So that's a plug for them.
Thank you. Yes, give us more resources. Okay, Marky, that's what you have for us.
You can email me at frmj2002 Again, FRMJ 2002. If you have any questions.
Great. Well, thank you all again. We look forward to having you back on the panel discussion when we talk about other topics. But thank you for just taking your mask off and being transparent and hopefully helping someone. So good night, mask off panel. We love you, we love you, love you, and we will see you next time. I gotta figure out how to end it first.
Say nothing for you. No cuss word.
Oh, that's because
Listen, I like Ken. Ken on it.
yes. Thank you,
Ken is on it.
Ken.
Thank you, Ken. We appreciate you, brother.
Yes, thank you, Ken.
Oh, somebody said, hey, son.
So if anybody
That's
wants
fine.
to reply to anyone once you get home and get settled, or tomorrow we have time, if you see anything that we might not have touched, because we're gonna try, our team will try, but we can't do it all. But if you want to talk to anybody, especially Ken, because she was on.
Thank you, IT.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Ken.
Can't do it without you.
Right, can't do it without you. Without you, baby.
Thank you, IT.
I think it was a great panel discussion.
You
Great
too.
discussion. Great.
Shout out to videography and IT.
Right.
Look at your mom, honey, because if them they start calling, baby, I'm gonna answer. I'm like, who is this? This is his girlfriend, Shaquisha.
And they gonna be like, girlfriend, you alive.
And watch the Quisha though.
Oh, God. The most
Say your
ghetto
name.
man.
Why you- Yeah, you done made up something.
Shaquisha.
All right, I'm gone.
All right, thank you,
Nice
baby.
to
Be
meet you.
careful.
Bye,
Thank you.
Markel.
See you later. Nice meeting you. All right, nice meeting you.
So what I plan on doing, everyone, is everybody who's doing these series, I'm gonna have something like a game night. So I'm gonna let y'all know some karaoke and some stuff. So just stay tuned, because I will be kid free after June 1st. So I'm making that announcement very well now. I will be kid free for 2.5 months. Yes, he gonna leave us a praise and worship.
I ain't about to read it.